It's time for fight news. Them's fighting whites.
You are the biggest fool I have ever known.
Fight News, episode 53. Scones with tea and terror.
Hey folks, Comicbookman here. Welcome once again to my video Outhouse. It's time for
Fight News.
Fight News, MMA News, my favorite news of all. And we're coming to you from Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie. Right over there.
Well, there's fights every day.
In beautiful
There's
downtown
a fight
Mount
going on
Greenwood.
right now.
Alternate Reality, our all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. We used to have an MMA gym right down the street there, and they went out of business. They went out of business, and they never once came down here to say hi.
You know, if they come over and say hello,
once,
probably would have kept going.
Not once did they ever come down here and say hi.
Serves them right.
So, and now they're gone. So there you go. Block away.
Your sterno bums now.
Anyway, first story up involves Spike TV and their relationship with UFC. They're getting a divorce.
Well, Spike TV's relationship with the UFC, the contract ends sometime around the end of the year, and there was a rumor, and it was reported in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times,
yes,
that UFC's...
Those are actual news sources.
They're actually interested in buying a controlling stake in G4.
Spike is?
Spike?
Or UFC?
No, UFC.
Oh,
UFC. Okay. So it would basically, and the Comcast-owned station's available in over 60 million homes.
Woo!
And so if they did that and they owned about 60% of it, then all of the UFC stuff would be on G4. Which apparently you can't get because you've got what? DirecTV, right?
DirecTV.
DirecTV doesn't carry G4 anymore.
No, it doesn't carry G4. Which the only thing I cared about with G4 was the San Diego Comic-Con news and Attack of the Show, which I can see online anyway.
But if the deal goes through, then because UFC and DirecTV have a really good working relationship, then that will no longer be an issue. They'll go, come back.
And if Dana wants to, he'll be coming back with a show where he's making some structural changes to how he is presenting the matches to you coming up very soon.
As of right now.
As of right now, as in very soon.
Every main event in UFC will be a 5-round fight, even if there's no title involved. So if a main event fighter gets hurt and has to drop out of the fight, the person that replaces him on short notice has to fight for 5 rounds.
No matter what.
Even if he's not ready. Every main event fight from now on will be 5 rounds.
No matter what.
No matter what. Hell or high water.
So they keep knocking guys out. They just gotta keep putting guys in.
Well, it's marked.
Get in there.
It's set
There's
for 5.
nobody left.
You got the
Get
5-round
popcorn
thing.
guy.
If you knock
5
a guy out in
rounds.
the 3rd round, well, the fight's over with. But if you don't knock a guy out, you got to keep going for 5.
Hey, this guy's out. You, 4th row.
No.
Get your butt down here.
You
fight.
never get over the cage.
Well, they got doors.
Yeah, but
Grandma, bad news.
You get beat up when you get beat.
You don't want to get on Dana White's bad side because he will snap at you like he did right after UFC 131.
Dana White's had this issue with judges for a while. He went over the top at UFC 131. There was an opening fight with a guy named Mishihiro Onagawa. He lost the fight against a guy named Darren Elkins. Many thought he won, and so White went, I don't give a crap what the judges said. You're getting the purse as if you won the fight or not.
Oh, man.
Screw you, stupid ass judges.
Why do you even have the judges then?
Well, he also suggested...
Just have the two of them fight and give the award to whoever you want.
Well, he also...
Yeah, you lost, but you win.
Well, Elkins actually got the win, but Okinawa got paid as if he won the fight no matter what. White also suggested some of the people who were judging these fights would never be used again, but he went out of his way to compliment referee Herb Dean, who he said is the best referee ever in MMA. And Herb Dean actually is pretty cool.
Explain something to me, which I really don't know.
Yes.
Who picks the judges?
The judges are usually picked by the athletic commissions in the state that they work in. So the judges for this fight, which took place in Vancouver...
So this is an actual athletic commission thing.
Right.
This isn't something that Dana White... Dana White doesn't pick the judges, and then they decide independently, and then he gets pissed off at the people he picks.
No, I mean...
These are people that the state picks?
This is... Yeah, the Vancouver Athletic Commission actually picked the judges for the fights for UFC 131.
Okay.
Now, when they go back to Vancouver, some of those judges won't be used again. They'll go, not them... He's an idiot.
Yeah, you can't do eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
No. So basically, what it is they'll submit a list of like 5 or 6 judges, and if one of those guys is on that list, he'll go, he's not going to be one of them, and you pick 3.
Okay. Ultimate Fighter 14 will feature featherweight and bantamweight fighters for the first time.
First time.
How exciting!
Now, if you watch Ultimate Fighter season 13, you didn't.
Yes.
The general idea for
No,
UFC,
I missed it.
well, you always miss
Give me the
it.
Cliff Notes.
I got a copy. Basically, the
Give
deal
me the
was,
Cliff Notes. We got 20 minutes to kill
in
here.
previous seasons, you would get 34 people there for the first
Yes.
show, and they would have to fight for the right to get into the house.
Sounds like Tough Enough.
UFC, well, actually, Tough Enough stole the idea from them.
It's tougher when you have to
Oh,
fight.
well.
It's tougher when you have to fight
Now,
to get out.
UFC had a problem with that, so they didn't do the elimination fights last year. The elimination fights are back this year. In fact, the elimination fights, because they tape these on Tuesday, those fights are so good that Dana White says, you know, those fights are going to be on TV in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how I'm going to get it, because those are the best fights I've ever seen. So you're going to see all those fights on TV.
One person who will be able to watch those fights is Nick Diaz, because he is no longer...
He's no longer the Strikeforce
First
welterweight champion. He gave that belt up because he's going to be fighting Georges St. Pierre for GSP's welterweight UFC belt. He couldn't have both belts, and so he said, well, I'll just give up my Strikeforce thing. As part of his deal also, he is no longer allowed to book actual boxing fights on the side. Dana went, I don't like that idea. And Diaz went, okay.
Shouldn't you give the belt up after? Suppose you don't win the belt you're
Well,
fighting.
no. Well, he's fighting for GSP's belt. His belt has been vacated, and so two people will fight for the Strikeforce middleweight belt.
Okay.
He basically said, "Here's the belt. I can't use it anymore."
Okay, we're getting down near the bottom, so I'm really starting to lose interest in this whole damn show.
Snap out of it!
Some people are on the shelf.
Jake Shields, BJ Penn, John Fitch. Their next fights are undetermined because all are dealing with lingering injuries.
Lingering.
Shields and Penn.
Lingering.
Shields and Penn have actually offered to fight each other. They've been talking about it on Twitter a lot. But BJ Penn has to fight John Fitch first because their last fight ended with a draw. So before the year is over with, they're all going to be on some big, huge mega card. Usually 9 times out of 10, the UFC, this is big New Year's Eve card in Las Vegas. They'll probably put them on that fight doing something.
And our last story is the pot is about to call the kettle black. Hi, I'm the pot. Roy Nelson, you fat ass, lose some weight.
Dana White had a nice conversation with Roy Nelson. He said, Roy,
Fat ass, lose some weight.
he says, Roy, I know for a guy your size, and Roy's got a pot belly, and he really doesn't look, he looks like a guy who would be fighting at a bar. But he actually has pretty good stamina. He's a really good fighter. But
Yes.
White went to Roy, he said, look, Roy, I know you can fight at this weight, and I know that you can fight at this weight, but you look like a tub of crap, so why don't you lose some weight? And apparently Roy's thinking about it.
Oh,
In fact,
sprinkle some sugar on that.
well, Dana White doesn't speak like sugars.
Yeah, apparently.
So Nelson, there's actually some trainer who said that he'd be more than willing to work with Nelson to lose his gut.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, like I said, he looks like a bar fighter. Although Ron Nelson's a really good fighter, but he looks like a guy you'd run into in a neighborhood bar.
Okay. That's swell. And that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. We've got no more UFC news, but you can go to the store's website and check out all the MMA news, all the UFC news. It's essentially the same thing. MMA is UFC, and UFC is MMA.
Basically, yeah. They own everything.
Go to the store's website, though. Yeah, they own everything.
Except
so
the guys in the corner are beating the crap out of each other. Bum fights.
Hey, go there.
www.myalternatereality.com. I heard they used to stop prison riots.
So, if you've been to the store's website,
You have?
then you know.
What was that?
So, we're done.
And we never finish a thought.
Bye!
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.